This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network.
Well, no, in the last film club, Aideen McQueen was the guest, and she had auditioned for Circle of Friends. Have you auditioned for Studs? Did they travel around Dublin?
How old would I have been when that came out?
I mean, it says in 6,
No.
so I don't know your age.
Yeah. That was the year I was born.
You were you were just a child.
I was 13.
Had you heard
But
of
they
it?
would have been filming it. No, I'd never heard of it.
Yeah.
One of those ones where it's, how have I not heard of this? It's like all my favorite things. It's got the Gleesons. It's got football.
Yes.
It's an Irish comedy film. This is my favorite thing.
It's not bad. We do a lot of these films, and a lot of times they are, pretty terrible. But I feel this one deserved more than to be completely forgotten.
This and Boy Eats Girl.
Sure, yeah. Boy Eats Girl.
I keep throwing
also
that. Do you
fine.
remember that? The Samantha Bumba film?
Oh.
The zombie film?
Yes.
Yes. With
Another one I haven't seen.
starring Deirdre O'Kane.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
And starring Deirdre O'Kane's husband.
The only 2 good parts of the film.
Yes. Yeah. That's the trouble of doing all these things in the Head Stuff Studios. Anyone who's involved was like, it's really good. I feel like maybe it was unfairly treated in the media, but from a directorial debut, fantastic. And, inspired casting to put his wife in there.
Well, for this film,
Do you think they could have made it better? Emma Doran. That's what I always thought.
But this film only played twice on TV3. That they sold the rights to
crazy.
it for that.
Did it get a release?
It got one of the biggest releases that any independent-ish Irish. It got 50 screens when it launched on that.
Wow.
And it went up against Munich and Brokeback Mountain.
Wow.
Yeah.
They'd said they were looking to make like $1.5 million to cover everything, and they'd be pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
But they spent, I think they spent just around £1 million. Breakfast at Pluto, 11 million quid. I think the year before, made back $1 million. And I remember that film being like a big deal.
That was a big film.
Yeah.
That only made $1 million.
That only made $1 million. So I don't know what Studs lost, but it definitely lost a
more
load
than
of money.
I just got hung up on the idea of a dad going up to a Brokeback Mountain and Munich doubleheader in 2006, walking out being like, what those men did to each other. What a tragedy. Well, I better go see Munich. I'm sorry, I got caught up in the low-hanging fruit. But
that means I would have seen it on TV3 in one of those 2 shows.
You'd seen it before, hadn't you?
You'd seen it?
I'd seen it,
Wow.
yeah. And I tried to watch it again last year, because I think we were going to do it as a film club last year at some point, and I was like, I was half paying attention as I was like cleaning and stuff, so I was like, I'm not giving it, it's not good, I'm not giving it all my attention.
Yeah.
I'll rewatch it properly.
it's all right.
It's all right.
You hear a lot at the moment, people in Hollywood, like writers, comedians and stuff, and they keep saying that they're getting asked by Netflix and all these streaming services to write stuff that is written like at a mid-level, so that they're like, write stuff that people can be on their phone whilst watching
Or
it.
watching,
yeah.
And is that what Studs is?
Well, I'd say you could just, instead of making new content, just start playing Irish films in the early 2000s.
Yeah, exactly. But especially because this comes in at a tight, is it even an hour and a half?
No, it's
just
under,
and with all sporting movies, you can just kind of skip the sports parts, I find.
Really?
Yeah,
Because they're not. In any football movie, they're not athletes. So there is a lot of like weird angles of feet and balls rolling, and like
Is
building
there
up
a
the drama.
good football movie? I mean, that's always the thing.
Is there a good football movie?
I couldn't.
Goal 3, Santiago's Revenge.
I mean,
Ladybug.
the CGI of that is so bad. It's just like every time they're on the pitch, it just doesn't. I just think that for something that is probably one of the most popular things in the world in terms of like entertainment, it's surprising that there isn't any like good film. Like maybe the United.
The Damned United.
Damned United.
Yeah. But they don't really show much of the football.
It's not really a football. It's more a sort of psychodrama.
Yeah, because if you're going to make a good football movie, it's more about the drama. Because the actual, how do you recreate like dramatic football? You can't really without footballers.
What about like a beautiful?
We're about to do it at the end of this
slow-mo.
month twice.
Yeah, but that's the beauty. But like also, honestly, real football is quite often really like boring to watch.
But
there's little moments of drama.
But like if you. Like, for example, when I was a kid, I used to watch the Bundesliga highlights as a kid.
Yes.
My dad would put them on. because my dad's German, and then he would play those. And I was a kid, I didn't really understand what highlights were, so I just thought
That was
German football was far more entertaining
Yes.
than English, and that's probably why I never supported a Premier League team until I got a bit older. I was just like, man, German football is so much shit happening all the time. The matches are so much shorter.
So short. German efficiency. I mean,
banging them in all the time.
Yeah.
Premier League? No. Euro goals.
I've noticed that now because I've only gotten into sports in recent life, and I find it's hard to describe, but I kind of, anytime there's any kind of a push, as I started watching rugby again yesterday. Anytime there's any kind of a push, you're kind of like, oh, this is it. They're going to score, and then when they don't, there's such a weird disconnect because it's just from watching highlights.
But
You're
it's
like,
the drama.
why would they?
It's so good.
It's not.
It is. It's like because there's always a team who's doing well. Like when they're on the line, it's like the Irish are defending, and like, oh, how well they defended when they stopped it. And it's like in rugby, they're always, for some reason, it's always like they're about a meter away. Like, I don't know why that's always... I'm like, why didn't they have the same effort when they were like 20 meters away?
But the enjoyment of watching the actual game is the kind of like the tension of, oh, will Italy beat England? I don't know if anyone bothered watching that game. But, Scotland, France, but you kind of get some of it from watching the highlights, but the enjoyment of the game is the tension of will it happen. But if you were then to watch it as a movie where you don't care if it happens or not, a lot of it is quite boring. There's an awful lot of just... My dad
middle
bits happening.
Watches on YouTube quite regularly the Germany 1974 World Cup win. Like he will watch that the win against the Netherlands. He'll stick it on and I'll watch it, and I've watched it with him, and it's entertaining. It's a little bit like slow TV ASMR kind of thing, but you do marvel at it a bit. And I also think it's like we have boxing movies, and the boxing scenes are great, and it's like we don't go like, well, we need professional boxers. Like I feel like if you were a smart stunt person, you would learn how to fucking do really cool football. They did Shaolin soccer. That was kind of okay, wasn't it?
I remember it being a thing anyway.
But it's much easier to recreate, like...
They tried. They really tried there. They were like, martial arts soccer? Will that get people interested?
Surely, to God, it must be a winner. But with boxing, you can just have someone panting in the corner and be like, I can't do it. You're a bum. And then, a punch that connects. You don't need... There's not as much that goes into it to make it look cinematic.
I thought we had Kevin. He was a convert after the games in like October. He's like, this is the end of it now. Ireland won 2 games in rugby and he's gone back.
I have rewatched that game multiple times.
Right?
Yeah, but that is... There's so much... but even still, like, as an actual game, there's lots of moments of downtime. But how do you... If you were going to try and like turn any bit of football into movie magic, that is like insane.
Yeah,
a hat trick at the last second
of
the game.
That is arguments crazy. In the hotel off the field. That's what we want.
That's what goes into the movie. Yeah. But I mean, with this, with studs, there's not a whole lot of football bits.
What's the setup for? I mean, again, I haven't.
We'll just
seen
run
it.
through the movie,
okay?
Because you can picture it in your mind. Maybe you'll know the answers to this question. But what was the first movie to do this kind of heavily overwritten voiceover that all of these movies in the early 2000s have?
This was a play first, so that's...
How was it a play?
It was seemingly a successful play, which...
was
from
it
20 years beforehand, 1986, that's why all the references...
Can we just pause for a second? When he says successful play, if we know if I knew anything about football, I'd interject with a stupid joke about, was it a such and such play? But that's how... my lack of knowledge, so I got nothing. But if you want to jump in and interject, is it a 2-man forward? Is that sort of successful play?
I've done so much to get him on the soccer buzz.
Now you're trying to get him onto the playwright buzz.
Yeah, I can't. How would this even be a play?
There's nothing like Friday night, a few cans of lager with your mates, and then just heading into the Abbey to see the latest McPherson.
I think those lads have gone to the gate actually last month.
A lot of the action, right? It's not happening on the stage, but it's just an excuse for the boys to get together.
Yeah.
Everyone sits around on their phone chatting about. Every once in a while, someone points up and be like, "Oh, jeez, that's good mise en scène," and then you tap in for the highlights and you get back.
Fallacy. You got some pathetic fallacy.
All right, son, walk it off. And
iambic pentameter.
It's more of a community kind of a thing rather than the actual action. But the drama off the stage is actually much better than the drama on the stage a lot of the time.
The pie and mash at halftime.
The pageantry. I remember my dad used to bring me down, driving down to see the Gaiety. Hang sandwiches in the back of the car. That's what got me.
It's tough though with the people from the fans of the Gate and the fans of the Abbey when they clash. It's not nice. To see,
I mean,
tears the
talk
city
about
apart.
ultras. They
destroys
fanatics.
the city.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen anywhere else. It's like, is it a play problem? Is it a
I think
a theatre
so.
issue?
Us rugby fans can sit down and watch a play without fighting each other.
You can't compare it.
The Liverpool fans were banned from watching plays in Dublin for quite a while, actually. Yeah. Banned from European plays for 5 years. It was terrible.
I don't know any other theatres.
I realised I don't know enough about theatre because I tried to make a Monk joke there. I was like, oh no, that was the ambassador, actually. That was the...
Myself and James Cadden were laughing at something the other night about the Monk. Was it Tony Shalhoub? Remember Monk, the TV show?
Yes.
Yeah.
Surely there's at least one person.
The bumbling guy.
Yeah, bumbling. That's pretty.
Isn't he bumbling?
No way. He gives the appearance. He's autistic, I think, is what it was.
Oh,
yeah,
but
so
then I'm
that's
misremembering.
that's the word for that in Ireland, actually.
At the time.
No, he was a savant.
Okay. That was afternoon viewing, I think.
Pure daytime television. You're homesick from school, and he was a little bit bumbling, but then he'd be like. He'd only be bumpy, but like, get your fingerprints off that. You're contaminating the evidence. And they'd be like, evidence? Tony Shalhoub, you nerd. And then it turns out that they'd been, don't jerk off into the semen sample. You'll ruin it. Shalhoub, you monk, you highly strung.
I have to put my own in there to prove that it's semen.
Where else am I meant to put it, monk? It says semen sample.
Why did we have that show?
What? Why did we have it?
Yeah.
It was cheaper than studs, I guess. What are people who are
It's not like Ireland voted to have that show.
But I feel like that is like I remember vividly having that.
It'd be very
like,
funny
if you're sick from school, you go home and
Yes.
it's like Monk is on or Psych or Jag.
Yeah.
I didn't have any of the good channels.
You're
No,
right.
Which is also why I saw Studs.
Definitely some kid like calling in sick to school to stay home for the Monk season finale.
I don't feel a temperature.
The whole season's been building towards this. I don't know, is Shalhoub going to solve this craze? He's got to save the mayor. The whole town's on the line. We were laughing at like Tony Shalhoub fans showing up to the play. Rex Ryan just walking out and like when they're trying to get vox pops of people's feelings about it, just disgusted that it wasn't Tony Shalhoub.
I travel all the way to Ireland.
I'd been watching every day. The amount of times I called in sick to school. I'm a big Shalhoub head. And I think it's a bit it's cynical for him to try and whitewash his own persona before running in his by-elections. I couldn't give a flip, fella. I was here to see Tony on the big stage.
No crimes were solved. In fact, it seems like more crimes were committed.
If Shalhoub was on the case, he wouldn't have fallen for this malarkey. The Regency Hotel case would have been solved like that. He would have been, that's not a woman, that's the monk.
300 very confused men wondering why Tony Shalhoub is doing a Q&A.
Why is Tony Shalhoub running for regional office in North Inner City Dublin?
Regency office.
There you go.
Hey.
Yeah, that was a real like Scooby-Doo. Do you remember?
This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network, a hub for the creative and the curious. Shows are produced in association with Head Stuff and the Podcast Studios Dublin. Find out more or become a member at headstuffpodcasts.com.